Chapter 899, Qing Si to the rescue. Du Gai and Master Shenyuan were engaged in a pitched battle. On the other end, the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan were seen chasing after the Yun siblings. Bai Moyu was currently at the 9th level of the spiritual emperor realm. Bai Moru and Yun Chushan were both at the 8th level of the spiritual master realm, while the Yun siblings were only at the 5th level of the spiritual master realm. As a result, they were both defeated very quickly. Yun Chushan, you actually betrayed the Spirit Radiance sect. You are not worthy to be a member of the Yun family. Our Yun family does not have scum like you. You are an honorless dog. Yun Chuki cursed angrily. Yun Chushan had a face full of ridicule. A person goes where the grass is greener. What's wrong with what I'm doing? It's you guys who let me down. What's so great about Yun Chujio? Whether it's the family head, you guys, or those idiots from the Spirit Radiance sect, they all treat her like a living treasure. I'll show you all who has the last laugh. Since you all look down on our second branch, I'll let you all die. From now on, the Yun family will belong to my grandfather. Yun Chushan, don't you feel guilty saying that? As the family head, what did my grandfather ever do to your branch? Whether it's the distribution of money or the exchanging of favors, what has he ever done to you? If he looked down on you, would he let you come with us to the Spirit Radiance sect? Moreover, search your conscience. At what time didn't you find trouble with little Jiu? Has little Jiu ever been calculative with you? With little Jiu's ability, it would be easy for her to kill you. I didn't expect her to care so much about family ties, but you turned out to be more of an ingrate. Yun Chou was so angry that her entire body trembled. The feeling of being betrayed by her family was really hard to accept. In the past, she only thought that she was petty and selfish, but she did not expect her to be so inhumane. Bai Moyu and Bai Moru looked at the internal strife in the Yun family, and their faces revealed a mocking expression. Although they no longer looked at the little power in Yi City, they were still very happy to see the Yun families fall from grace. They would first kill the ones here. After that, they would kill that old bastard Yun Xiaotian. Then, the Yun family would be completely wiped out. As for Yun Chujio, she would die sooner or later. Senior sister Bai, stop talking nonsense with them. Let's kill them. Bai Moru took the lead and attacked Yun Chu. This bitch is getting more and more outstanding as she grows up. I have long wanted to make her lose face. Although the Yun siblings had the advantage in numbers, the difference in spiritual power was too great. They were no match for the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan. Very soon, they were easily defeated and on the brink of death. Seeing this, Feng Ming and the other two wanted to come over to help. However, they were tied down by their own opponents and had no way to escape. At that moment, Qing Si jumped over and attacked Bai Moyu. Bai Moyu snorted coldly. You're only at the 5th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm. You overestimate yourself. Since you want to die so badly, I'll grant you your wish. What Bai Moyu never expected was that Qing Si actually took out a talisman. After activating it, a wave of thick smoke rose into the air. While everyone's vision was affected, Qing Si took advantage of that opening and saved the Yun siblings with Feng Ming. We're insignificant to the battle here. Let's go find little Jiu. Only she can turn the tide. Qing Si changed her from her previous taciturn tone and said firmly, then, she summoned a jet-black flying spirit tool and beckoned everyone up. The Yun siblings and Feng Ming were very surprised. Usually, they did not see Qing Si reveal herself. They did not expect that not only did she have a flying spirit tool, but a very high-end one too at that. It must be very valuable. Chapter 900, Qing Si's unique flying spirit tool. Although Feng Ming and the others were surprised, they knew that this was not the time to ask questions. Qing Si was right. Finding little Jiu was the key now. They did not know if little Jiu had managed to save the cultivators from the East Valley. If she had saved them all, then it would be enough to fight the godly devil Hull. Because the Spirit Radiance sect was surrounded by the people from the godly devil Hull, Beiming secret guards could not get close. Moreover, they had to protect the remaining people from the Yun residents, so they did not dare to show themselves rashly. Therefore, the people from the Spirit Radiance sect did not know that Yun Chujio was already on the way back. Qing Si and the others got on their flying spirit tools and flew in the direction of the Elixir Valley. At that moment, the thick smoke had dispersed. The Bai siblings and Yun Chushan immediately discovered that the Yun siblings had fled on their flying spirit tools. A woman wearing a purple mask walked up to them and shouted angrily, "Trash! Why aren't you going after them?" "Yes." Cousin Yen ran, "Ah, Lord Purple Mask." Bai Moyu had just finished speaking when he changed his words under the woman's cold gaze. Under the pressure, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Su Yenran waved her hand, and a gold-masked man walked over. "Fan Zhen, bring a few people and the three of them to capture the people on the flying spirit tool. If that doesn't work, bring back their corpses. Those people are people that bitch Yun Chujio cares about. I want her to watch them die for her." "Yes. Lord." Fan Zhen summoned his flying spirit tool and led 5 silver-masked men, Bai Moyu, and the others to board the flying spirit tool and quickly chased after Qing Si and the others. Fan Zhen's flying spirit tool was also a high-end one, in addition to his superb spiritual power. He soon caught up with the flying spirit tools Qing Si and the others were on. Fan Zhen's lips curled into a sneer. "Attack them from the porthole and try to force them to land, then capture them alive. That bitch Yun Chujio made me suffer last time. When I catch these people, I will kill them in front of that bitch." The 5 silver-masked men and Bai Moyu attacked the flying spirit tool in front of them from the porthole. What they did not expect was that the flying spirit tool not only had a protective array but also a high-level one, so the attack did not destroy it. Fan Zhen frowned. "Keep attacking. Sooner or later, its protective array will be broken." Suddenly, several wind blades shot out from the tail of the flying spirit tool in front of him, heading straight for Fan Zhen's flying spirit tool. Fan Zhen did not expect that there would be a flying spirit tool with the ability to attack in this low-level world. In a moment of carelessness, his flying spirit tool was hit by the wind blades. The flying spirit tool trembled a few times. Although it was not seriously damaged, it still slowed down. The flying spirit tool in front of them instantly pulled away from the commotion. "Interesting. Looks like we're going to catch an unexpected big fish. Continue attacking but keep them alive, especially that little girl with the flying spirit tool." Fan Zhen's eyes revealed a look of greed. That little girl was no simpleton. Perhaps she would be able to get an unexpected surprise. The distance between the 2 flying spirit tools changed constantly. Whenever they were about to catch up, Qing Si would have her flying spirit tool attack. That way, they would once again pull away and gain some distance. However, after a day, Qing Si frowned and said, "My flying spirit tool won't be able to last much longer. We can either find a place to land or switch to another flying spirit tool." Chapter 901, Shi Xian's Feelings. Junior sister Qing Si, the 3 of us have flying spirit tools. Although they are not as high-end as yours, it's better than nothing. You attack them while we find a place to land. Then, well, switch to my flying spirit tool, Feng Ming said. Okay. Qing Si took the opportunity and attacked Fan Zhen's flying spirit tool with several wind blades. Then, she flew for some distance and found a large clearing. After that, Qing Si landed the flying spirit tool on the ground. Before Feng Ming could call out his flying spirit tool, Fan Zhen and the others arrived. It turned out that after they saw right through Qing Si's intention, they rode on their swords and chased after her. Humph. I advise you not to struggle while on your last legs. Our strength is far greater than yours. Don't worry, I won't take your lives for the time being. Why don't you obediently surrender? Fan Zhen said arrogantly. Bah! In your dreams. You ugly freak who has no face to see others. Yunchuki's venomous tongue was not that much weaker than Yunchuji's. You're courting death. Fan Zhen thrust a palm at Yunchuki. Yunchuki's injuries were already extensive, so she was in no position to dodge. She could only close her eyes and await her death. She never imagined that she would be pushed away by someone. Then, she heard a muffled groan. Yunchuki opened her eyes and saw that it was Shi Xian who had blocked the palm strike for her. He was sent flying over 100 feet away and spat out a mouthful of blood. Senior brother Shi Xian. Yunchuki never expected that Shi Xian would actually block the palm strike for her. She staggered over and hurriedly stuffed the heaven-grade blood coagulation pill that Yunchujiu had given her into Shi Xian's mouth. Shi Xian's life hung by a thread. Thanks to the heaven-grade blood coagulation pill, he was able to keep his life. However, his injuries were still severe. Senior brother Shi Xian, why did you take the palm strike for me? Are you stupid? Yunchuki did not cry, but her eyes were red. Shi Xian did not speak. He only smiled at Yunchuki, but his hand held Yunchuki's. If Yunchuki still did not understand Shi Xian's intentions, she would have been truly dumbfounded. Her heart was filled with a bittersweet feeling. If it were not for this moment, she would have been bashful and happy. However, they were about to be sent to the underworld together despite not yet having the chance to express their true feelings. At that moment, Feng Ming and the others had already engaged in battle with Fan Zhen and the others. Yunchuki stuffed a few pills into Shi Xian's hands and the two of them gritted their teeth and joined the battle. The difference in strength between the two sides was huge. Very soon, Qing Si and the others were all knocked to the ground. This was because Fan Zhen wanted to capture them alive. Otherwise, they would have died long ago. Looking at the people lying on the ground that no longer had the strength to fight back, Baimoru walked in front of Yunchu and gave her a few tight slaps. Bitch! You used this vixen's face to seduce my admirer. How shameless! I'll mutilate your face right now. Let's see what else you can use to seduce people. Fan Zhen knew about Baimoru and Su Yanren's relationship, so he turned a blind eye. As long as they did not kill her, it was fine as long as she was only toying with them. Baimoru took out a dagger and sneered as she slashed at Yunchua's face. After thinking for a moment, she put the dagger away. It's a waste to just cut them up like that. These 3 bitches are your reward. You guys go play with them in the forest first. When you're done, I'll destroy their faces. The silver-masked men immediately revealed lewd smiles. They had been besieging the Spirit Radiance sect for the past few days and did not have any time for play. These 3 girls were each more beautiful than the other, and they were all virgins. Things could not turn out better for them. Chapter 902, Courting Death. Yunchuzi and the others wanted to go forward to stop them, but unfortunately, they were all heavily injured and were no match for the 5 silver-masked men. They were kicked to the ground, and Yunchu and the other 2 were dragged by the silver-masked men into the small forest nearby. Yazi, Shi Xian, and the others' eyes were bloodshot, but there was no way to stop them. Yunchu Shan. If you have any conscience at all, give us a quick death. Otherwise, I will not let you off even if I become a ghost. Yunchu shouted at the top of her lungs. Yunchu Shan snorted coldly. You brought this on yourselves, what does it have to do with me? You should just enjoy it wholeheartedly. Maybe if you serve the Silver-Masked Lord well, you can still keep your life. 5th sister, her heart is utterly black. What's the point of begging her? I'll leave first, we'll still be sisters in the next life. Yunchuki was about to bite her tongue and commit suicide. You want to die? You can die after I'm done with you. I don't want to play with dead wood. The silver-masked man pinned down Yunchuki. She couldn't even speak, let alone bite her tongue and commit suicide. The other two silver-masked men also pinned down Yun Chu and Qing Si as they dragged them into the forest with lewd smiles. Yun Chuzi and the others struggled to get up to stop them, but they were once again kicked to the ground by Bai Moyu and the others. Bai Moyu smiled sinisterly and said, "Yun Chuzi, hasn't your Yun family always been against our Bai family? Do you think that you can turn the tables with Yun Chuzhou? That's just a delusion. Your Yun family will soon cease to exist, and our Bai family will be going to the land of bliss with our master, ha ha ha. Bai Moyu. Little Jiu won't let you off. Little Jiu will avenge us." Yun Chuzi once again resented his own incompetence. Seeing that his sister was about to be trampled on by beasts, he was helpless. Bai Moyu laughed wildly. "Yun Chuzhou. Humph. She has repeatedly ruined our master's plans. Do you think she can survive? However, before she dies, Yanren's sister will definitely take good care of her. Yun Chu and the others are suffering the same treatment as Yun Chuzhou in the future. When that time comes, she will be begging for death." Just as Bai Moyu was spouting nonsense, he heard someone in the air say, "Kill them all. Leave none alive." Bai Moyu looked up and saw several flying spirit tools hovering in the air. There were hundreds of high-level cultivators riding their swords arriving. The one in front was a beautiful girl with a cold murderous aura that made people tremble in fear. Bai Moyu didn't recognize the girl for a moment. Bai Moru, who was next to him, shouted, "Yun Chuzhou. Impossible. How did that bitch Yun Chuzhou become so beautiful?" Fan Zhen thought to himself, what an idiot. At that time, he actually had the heart to care about looks. With so many people here, they were probably all cultivators trapped in the East Valley. It was better for him to leave while he could, or else he would not make it out alive. When Fan Zhen thought of this, he bit his index finger and was about to use the red spider lily secret art to escape. He never expected that Yun Chuzi and the others, who were already unable to fight back, would suddenly regain their strength when they saw Yun Chuzhou coming. The few of them jumped forward desperately and grabbed onto Fan Zhen's legs. Fan Zhen's secret art was suddenly interrupted, and in a rage, threw a wind blade toward Yun Chuzi and the others behind him. An ice dragon blocked Fan Zhen's spiritual power attack, then swung its tail and slapped Fan Zhen several feet away. Fan Zhen stood firm and wanted to use the secret art again, but there was no chance. Di Baiming and Shui Wuji's spiritual power attacks hit him like a storm, not giving him any chance to breathe. How could he even retaliate? After a few moments, he was imprisoned. Shui Wuji took out the poison from Fan Zhen's mouth, then took out his sword and cut the tendons on both his hands and feet. He smiled evilly, "Let's see how you use the so-called secret technique this time. You dare to touch my little sister's family? You're done for this time." Chapter 903, Su Yanren's secret. At that moment, Bai Moyu and the other two, as well as the 5 silver-masked men, had all been taken down. Yun Chuzhou first took out a pill to save Yun Chuzi and the others. Seeing that their lives were not in serious danger, she was relieved. If they were a moment too late, the consequences would be unimaginable. It seemed that she had to think of a way to improve their constitutions. Otherwise, even if they cultivated diligently, there was a limit to what they could achieve. 5th sister, 7th sister, and Qing Si, I'll leave these people to you to deal with. You can do whatever you want with them. Don't worry, with us here, they won't be able to escape even if they have wings. Yun Chuzhou curled the corners of her lips and said, "Yun Chuzhou. You can't kill us. If you kill us, Yun Xiaotian will be as well." Bai Moru shouted. "Grandfather, of course he'll save him. You're just a few lackeys, you don't have the right to negotiate with me. Cousin Yanran is the highest level purple-masked emissary in the godly devil hall. If you kill us, she won't let you off." Su Yanran. Oh, no wonder. I was wondering who had such a great enmity towards me and wanted to kill me time and time again. So it was her. By Moru, do you think Su Yenran would take you seriously? Your value was gone the moment the spirit radiance sect's grand array was broken. Fifth sister, do it. Yun Chou slapped Bai Moru several times. Bai Moru, as a woman, I would never have used those despicable methods on you. Accept your death. Yun Chou raised her sword and slashed downwards at Bai Moru. Seeing this, Bai Moyu begged loudly, "Little Jiu, for the sake of our past friendship, please spare me. I'll tell you everything I know." When Di Baiming heard the words past friendship, the chill on his body suddenly intensified. An Feng, who was beside him, shivered. He thought to himself, this Bai Moyu had just dug his grave. If you had not mentioned that sentence, perhaps you would have died a slower death. If you mentioned it, if you do not say anything about Miss Jiu, our esteemed lord will smack you to death. Past friendship. White scum, how can you be so thick-skinned? Ask yourself, have you ever shown me any kindness? Besides, what could you possibly know? Su Yenran is just another person you treated as a chess piece, how would you know anything else? No. I know something. I know Cousin Yanran's big secret. As long as you swear, if I tell you, you will let me go, and I'll tell you what it is. Bai Moyu saw that the silver-masked men were killed by Yun Chuzi and the others, and he was scared to death. Oh. A big secret? I am somewhat interested. Okay, I swear, if you tell me this secret, I will let you go. If I don't let you go, I will hit you with 5 lightning bolts from the sky. Yun Chujio said indifferently. Bai Moyu had never seen Yun Chujia's abnormal situation where she was not afraid of being struck by lightning. In the eyes of cultivators, oaths were very solemn and effective, so he believed it to be true, therefore, he said, Cousin Yenran is not my aunt's biological flesh and blood. My aunt's biological daughter was stillborn. Coincidentally, a baby girl appeared in the bedroom. My aunt felt that this was heaven's compensation to her, so she did not investigate Cousin Yanran's background and directly raised her as her biological daughter. Yun Chujio touched her chin. Oh, this was interesting. She did not expect Su Yanran's background to be so complicated. However, it was also true. If she was just an ordinary girl, how could she gain the appreciation of the master and become the purple-masked emissary? Chapter 904, The Soul-Searching Technique, Go On. I'm not too sure about what happened after that. 3 years ago, it seemed that the master sent someone to find Cousin Yenran. Then, Cousin Yenran entered the Heavenly Gate sect, and her powers suddenly grew. She regularly gave me some pills that would increase my spiritual power, asking me to recruit several accomplices. A few days ago, when we were patrolling the array core, we acted according to Cousin Yanran's instructions and tampered with the array disk. The next day, the Spirit Radiance sect's protective array was broken. I've told you everything I know. Let me go. Bai Moyu thought to himself. As long as I can escape, sooner or later, I'll this slut, and take revenge. Let you go. In your dreams. Yun Chujio took out a large kitchen knife and pointed it at Bai Moya's neck. Yun Chujio. You can't kill me. Aren't you afraid of breaking your oath and being struck by lightning? You'll be struck to death by lightning. Bai Moyu shouted at the top of his voice. The onlookers burst into laughter. This idiot. Little ancestor Yun struck to death by lightning. It was more like the lightning would be angered to death by her. I'm sorry, Bai Moyu. The thing I'm least afraid of is lightning. Do you know why there's always the sound of lightning at the back of the mountain? It's from them striking me repeatedly. That's why I eagerly welcome lightning strikes, you idiot. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Bai Moyu said in fear, Impossible, impossible. No one is unafraid of lightning. You must be lying to me. Quickly let me go, or else, you will suffer. Bai Moya's words came to an abrupt end. Yun Chujia's large kitchen knife gently brushed past his neck, and Bai Moyu fell to the ground with a thud. Seeing that the Bai siblings had been killed, Yun Chushan cried bitterly and said, "Little Jiu, I was wrong. Third sister was wrong. Please spare me. For the sake of our many years of friendship as sisters, please spare me. I will change my ways and become a new person." Fifth sister, seventh sister, Qing Si. Do you think we should spare her? Yun Chujio looked at Yun Chushan, who was crying bitterly, with a hint of mockery. Spare her? When we were about to be raped, she refused to kill us even when we begged her. Why should we listen to what she says? She is no longer a member of our Yun family. It's not enough for such an ingrate to die 10,000 times. Little Jiu, if you can't do it, I will. Yun Chuki said through gritted teeth. When Yun Chushan saw that there was no chance of survival, her expression became ferocious. Don't be complacent. Even if I die, you won't be able to win. The godly devil hall is not something you can contend with. Sooner or later, all of you will go to hell. The Lord will not forgive you. Yun Chushan, you don't have to worry about us. That dog shit Lord will accompany you sooner or later. Die. Yun Chujio flipped her hand with her kitchen knife and Yun Chushan fell to the ground bleeding. Yun Chujio looked at Fan Zhen and then said to Di Baiming, "Prince Charming, do you know how to use the soul-searching technique? With such a stubborn person, we won't be able to get anything out of him even if we interrogate him. We might as well just use the soul-searching technique." When Fan Zhen heard that the soul-searching technique was going to be used on him, his face immediately turned ashen. Once he used the soul-searching technique, he would turn into a vegetable. Then, what was the point of living? However, he could not move at all except for his eyes. There was nothing he could do even if he wanted to resist. He could only watch helplessly as Di Baiming placed his hand on Fan Zhen's Baihui acupoint. After 15 minutes, Di Baiming's hand left Fan Zhen's Baihui acupoint. Fan Zhen's eyes instantly became unfocused. It was obvious that he had become brain dead. Chapter 905, Subduing Some Demonic Beasts. Prince Charming, how is it? Is there any useful information? Yun Chujio asked anxiously. The useful information is limited. Su Yenran was the one who passed all the instructions to him. He was only in charge of implementing them. He had never met the master before and was only in charge of the area in the Endless Sea. After the silver-masked man died the last time, he was transferred here as a replacement. Di Baiming said with a frown. He had thought that they had caught a big fish, but he did not expect that it was just a lackey. The godly devil hall was really careful in covering up their tracks. Is there any news about grandfather and the kidnapped commoners? Senior Yun has been escorted by Su Yenran all this time. Right now, he is outside the Spirit Radiant Sect's mountain gate guarded by more than 10 golden-masked men. Those commoners are trapped in the mountain behind the Heavenly Gates sect being used as a blood source to support the evil formation. Yun Chujio thought for a moment and said, if that's the case, we will split into 2 groups. Everyone from the Heavenly Gates sect, you will lead a portion of your people to kill your way back to the Heavenly Gates sect. Right now, the Heavenly Gates sect is relatively empty, and those disciples may not have truly submitted to the godly devil hall. They may have been coerced by Du Gai and Su Yenran. You should try to reason with them and think of a way to turn those disciples against them and save those commoners. It'll bring the remaining people to the Spirit Radiance sect. Everyone nodded in agreement and split into 2 groups. One group headed to the Heavenly Gates sect while the other group headed to the Spirit Radiance sect. When Yun Chujio passed by the demonic beast forest, she thought for a moment and decided that it would be best to bring along some help just in case. Thus, she used her spiritual sense to speak to the strange grass, summon those high-level demonic beasts for me. I'm going to make use of them. The strange grass obediently did as she was told. The leaves curled up and emitted a scent that made the demonic beasts drool. "Everyone, you guys go ahead first. I will go down and subdue some more demonic beasts." Yun Chujio shouted to the crowd through the porthole. Those people were dumbfounded. What did she mean by subjugating some more demonic beasts? Those demonic beasts from the Elixir Valley had followed us to attack the godly Devil Hall because you had saved their lives. However, the demonic beasts in the demonic beast forest were wild and hard to tame. They had no interaction with you, so why would they listen to you? Moreover, the demon beast forest was vast. How would you find those high-level demon beasts? Even if you found 8 or 10 of them, what use would that be? However, since they had already made Yun Chujio the commander, they could only do as they were told and continue to rush to the Spirit Radiance sect at full speed. A day later, they arrived in the sky above the Spirit Radiance sect. The ground was full of dead bodies. The Spirit Radiance sect's main gate had already been broken through. Elder Shao and the others' hearts tightened. Could it be that Master Shenyuan and the others were all dead? At that moment, someone noticed that the Spirit Radiance sect was shrouded in light and seemed to be engaged in an intense battle. Elder Shao looked over and saw that it was in the direction of the southern Jade Square. Everyone hurriedly flew in the direction of the southern Jade Square. When they got close, Elder Shao's heart relaxed. He saw that the entire southern Jade Square was enveloped in a layer of light, and the people from the Spirit Radiance sect inside had set up the hexagonal starlight array. Elder Shao was a bit puzzled. Although the hexagonal starlight array was a relatively powerful defensive array, it was not enough to withstand such a large-scale spiritual power attack from the godly Devil Hall. What was going on? Before they had time to think, everyone flew down from the flying spirit tool. "You scoundrels, you were working with the enemy. Today is the day you die." Su Yenran did not show any signs of panic when she saw everyone arrive. She said indifferently, "Where's Yun Chujio?" "Su Yenran, you're the last one who can ask about little ancestor Yun's whereabouts. Die." Elder Chu saw that the Spirit Radiance sect was almost in ruins. Yazis' eyes were filled with anger as he slapped his palm toward Su Yenran. Chapter 906, Ancestral Master Ling Hua's 3 Predictions, Little Ancestral Master Yun. The people of your Spirit Radiance sect are despicable. How dare you acknowledge trash as your little ancestral master? You came at the right time. It's just the right time to capture all of you in one fell swoop. Kill them. Leave no one alive. Su Yenran sidestepped Elder Chu's attack. She suddenly slammed her palm towards Elder Chu's front heart. Elder Chu was shocked. How could Su Yanran's spiritual power be so high? It looked like she had already reached the 9th level of the spiritual sovereign realm and was only a step away from ascension. Elder Chu was not a pedantic person. Seeing that he was no match for her, he hurriedly shouted, "Everyone, let's attack together. I can't deal with this Su Yenran alone." 5 more Spirit Radiance sect elders came over and surrounded Su Yenran. Su Yenran curled her lips in disdain and waved her hands. She fought everyone and gradually gained the upper hand. As Yun Chujio had divided the people into 3 groups, they still had far fewer forces than the people of the godly Devil Hall, and they gradually fell into a disadvantage. Seeing this, Master Shenyuan deactivated the hexagonal starlight array. The people inside also rushed out to help Elder Chu and the others fight against the people of the godly Devil Hall. Even so, they were still not a match for the godly Devil Hall. They gradually fell into a disadvantageous position, and the number of casualties increased. Su Yanran's eyes revealed a proud expression. You are already at the end of your rope. Those who know how to adapt to the situation are wise men. As long as you immediately abandon your allies and help us find the Eye of the Earth, I will spare you. Pooey. Shameless scum. Help you find the Eye of the Earth and let you destroy the Azure Mystic Continent. In your dreams. Su Yanran, don't be overconfident. When little Jiu gets here, I will take your life. Elder Chu scolded loudly. Su Yanran laughed coldly. Yun Chujiu. I can't wait for her to get here quickly so that I can humiliate her properly. She's constantly ruining my plans. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have taken action so early. All of you suffered because of her. Today, all of you will die. As Su Yanran said this, she became more and more aggressive. Elder Chu and the others gradually lost, and wounds started piling up on their bodies. The rest of them were also forced back by the people of the godly Devil Hall. Du Gai's sword stabbed into the left shoulder of Master Shenyuan. He laughed wildly. Shenyuan Chongkong, why else are you hiding? You shrewd old man, I didn't expect that your Spirit Radiance sect had so many secrets. Unfortunately, it's useless. Today is the day you die. Master Shenyuan was extremely anxious. Those people in the square were the backbone of the Azure Mystic Continent. If they died, the Azure Mystic Continent would fall into the hands of the godly Devil Hall. No, that would not be the case. There was still little Jiu. The first prediction was that whoever could find the spirit weapon hidden underground would be his true disciple. The second prediction was that once the Spirit Radiance sect was destroyed, they could activate the protective array in the southern Jade Square. The third prediction was that his true disciple would be able to save the Spirit Radiance sect from the fire and water. The first two rules had already come true, so the last one would as well. The moment Master Shenyuan was distracted, Du Gai found a flaw and stabbed his left leg. Master Shenyuan screamed and fell to the ground. Du Gai revealed a fierce smile. He raised his sword and stabbed at Master Shenyuan. Old man, die. Stop. Du Gai, you bastard. Stop right now. As he spoke, a fat old man rushed over from afar. Chapter 907, Sun Wuzhong comes out of closed-door cultivation. Du Gai was stunned. He raised his head to look at the fat old man. At this moment, the fat old man had already rushed up to him. Sect Master, are you alright? What on earth is going on? How did I emerge from closed-door cultivation for 3 years to see things turn out like this? Elder Sun. Sigh. It's a long story. In short, these people are all from the godly Devil Hall. Du Gai has already joined those villains. Now, he wants to help the godly Devil Hall destroy the Azure Mystic Continent. Master Shenyuan explained the current situation in a few sentences. Taking advantage of the lull in fighting, he took out a medicinal pill to treat his injuries and swallowed it. The person who came was Yun Chujia's nominal master, Elder Sun Wuzhong, who had been in seclusion for 3 years. At that moment, he was already at the peak of the 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. If it wasn't for the fact that the protective array of the Spirit Radiance sect was broken, he wouldn't have been alarmed and would have spent another 2 years away before ending his seclusion. Du Gai saw that Elder Sun's level of spirit energy was the same as his, and a trace of fear appeared in his heart. This Sun Wuzhong did not hold back when he fought. I might not be able to beat him. Elder Sun had always been a person who was easily angered. When he heard Master Shenyuan say this, he immediately exploded. He raised his large saber and slashed at Du Gai. You old man, you turned your back on others. You're fucking courting death. Du Gai did not dare to take it head-on. He jumped to the side and dodged Elder Sun's large saber. He raised his hand and several wind blades flew straight at Elder Sun. Elder Sun did not dodge at all. He slashed his saber and those wind blades instantly disappeared into the air. Du Gai's grew even more fearful. This old fart, although he was of the same level as me, my spiritual power had artificially increased after eating some pills. Naturally, I haven't gotten used to my increased spiritual power yet compared to one that cultivated naturally like him. A wise man would know he was at a disadvantage against such opponents. He shouted to the side, "Come quickly, help me deal with this old man." Hearing Du Gai's shout, 3 gold-faced emissaries immediately jumped over. They were all at the 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. The 4 of them surrounded Elder Sun and started to fight him. An hour later, Elder Sun could not hold on any longer. Although his spirit energy was solid, it was more than enough to deal with one opponent at Du Gai's level. Dealing with 2 was also still manageable, but 4 of them at once was too much. Master Xianyuan was already entangled by 2 golden-masked men. He could not even take care of himself, let alone try to help Sun Buizhong. Du Gai laughed wildly. Sun Buizhong, you are so arrogant. Not so arrogant now, are you? You can only blame yourself for not being born at the right time. Originally, you could be considered a formidable figure, but now that you have met our godly devil hall, you will die today. Elder Sun's temper was explosive, and he did not lose out when losing. Du Gai, you old bastard. Your grandfather died a good man, unlike you, a disgraceful grandson. For some personal benefits, you even abandoned your ancestor. Du Gai's face was livid with anger. Kill him. Kill this old bastard for me. The 4 of them intensified their attacks. Elder Sun's clothes were gradually dyed red with blood, and his eyes were bloodshot. He still swung his saber fiercely like a tiger, a spitting image of a god of war. Du Gai felt a sense of fear in his heart. This Sun Buizhong was not human. He was injured so badly, yet he could still hold on for such a long time. He had to kill him today. Otherwise, he would definitely become troublesome in the future. Everyone, put in more effort. This old man is already at the end of his ropes. If we kill him now, the rest of these people are nothing to be afraid of. The 4 of them stepped up their attacks again. Elder Sun finally could not resist. He was stabbed in the abdomen by Du Gai, and his right leg was stabbed by another person. He used his saber to support his body, which was why he did not fall. Du Gai, even if I die, I will drag you all along with me. None of you will survive. Elder Sun roared angrily. Not good. He is going to self-destruct. Quickly dodge. Du Gai shouted in fear. Chapter 908, Little Buizhong, stop. Elder Sun threw his head back and laughed. Du Gai, you can't hide. Today, I will drag you down with me. Elder Sun used all his strength to leap forward. Just as he was about to self-destruct his dantian, a burst of clear laughter rang out in the air. Little Uncle Zhong, your life is so precious. How can you waste it on these scumbags? Watch as I avenge you. Little ancestor. Elder Sun was instantly dumbfounded. Fuck. No one had called him that for hundreds of years, right? Who had the guts to call him that? The other people in the southern Jade Square also heard the voices in the air. They looked up and immediately burst into cheers. Little Ancestor Yun is here. The time of death for the godly devil hall has come. Little Ancestor Yun. Kill these shameless scum. Elder Sun was dumbfounded when he saw a beautiful girl riding a sword from the sky. He was puzzled. Little Ancestor Yun. Where did Little Ancestor Yun come from? Moreover, these people called her Little Ancestor Yun regardless of their sect. Could it be that this was her name? Why did she come up with such a weird name? After Yun Chujio landed on the ground, she glared fiercely at Elder Sunday. Trash dim sum. Can't you tell the good from the bad? Why are you trying to self-destruct like it's no big deal? Get lost. Elder Sun was dumbfounded. If not for his serious injuries, he would have wanted to slap this little girl to death. Who were you? How dare you lecture him in such a tone? How rude. At that moment, everyone stopped their attacks and gathered around Yun Chujio. For some reason, when they saw Yun Chujio, they felt confident and felt that there was no difficulty that they could not defeat despite their precarious situation. Yun Chujio ignored Elder Sun and glanced at the situation in front of her. then, she curled her lips and said, "The godly devil hall is really well known. Let me see, isn't it just a nest of wild cats and beasts? If you want me to say, don't call it the godly devil hall, just call it the hall of beasts." Ha ha ha. Hearing Yunchujia's words, everyone burst into a burst of mocking laughter. When they saw this little girl, their hearts instantly calmed down. Du Gai said sinisterly, "Stinky girl, you've ruined the affairs of our godly devil hall time and time again. Prepare to die." Du Gai saw that Yunchujio was only at the first level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Although he heard that this little girl was a little strange, he did not take it seriously. He raised his sword and stabbed toward her. He also had the intention to contribute to the cause. If he could capture or kill Yunchujio, it would be a huge win for them. Su Yenran stood at the side and did not stop him. She also wanted to assess Yunchujia's current strength. Anyway, with Yun Xiaotian in hand, she would not be able to escape from her hands. At that moment, Du Gai was already busy fighting with Yunchujio. He thought that if he would be able to take Yunchujio down in less than 15 minutes. He never expected that although Yunchujio dodged his attacks every time, she was not injured at all. Moreover, she was running her mouth the entire time. Du Gai, do you think you are going back to your old self? You are a sect leader, but you are shameless enough to be someone else's lackey. You're so cheap. Su Yenran was originally your disciple, but now you are actually calling her lord. You are the model of shamelessness and disgrace. Du Gai, you have forgotten your ancestors. For a so-called meteoric rise, you even abandoned your ancestors. I think you should stop calling yourself Du Gai in the future and just call yourself Wang Ba-yi. Chapter 909, Yun Chujio or Little Ancestor Yun. Du Gai was so angry that he almost died. However, no matter how hard he tried, Yun Chujio was able to dodge his attacks every time. It always looked like he almost hit her, but there was no damage at all. "Io, Wang Ba-yi, you're not that good. Could it be that you sold out your ancestors and your conscience in exchange for such weak spiritual power? TSK, you really are stupid. Du Gai, if I were you, I would find a piece of tofu and smash it to death. That's the best thing you can destroy with your power. You have the face to show off here. Your skin is really thick to a certain level. It's amazing." Du Gai almost fainted from anger. This little girl had always had a sharp tongue in the past. He did not expect her to be even more venomous now. She was too infuriating. He had to kill her. However, even though he had used all of his strength, Yun Chujio had barely broken a sweat. Moreover, she had never stopped talking. She had specifically pushed Du Gai's buttons. She had even sprinkled a handful of salt on his wounds. Everyone was watching the battle from behind. Elder Sun had already recovered a little after consuming a medicinal pill. He poked Master Xianyuan beside him. "Master, who is that little girl? Her name is Little Ancestor Yun. Why does everyone know her? Is she very famous?" The corners of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched. He thought to himself, this little girl was able to enter the Spirit Radiance sect because of you. You don't recognize her? She is Yun Chujio. You met her in the Demon Beast Forest back then. Have you forgotten? Elder Sun was stunned, then he grinned. "Master, don't tease me. Back then, I did save a little girl named Yun Chujio. However, not only was that little girl dark and thin, but she was also a poor little girl without any spirit energy. How could it be her? Besides, isn't her name Yun Chujio? It's not like her name is Little Ancestor Yun. She is Yun Chujio. She has a heavenly thunder root spirit. It was just that it was not known back then. Moreover, Little Ancestor Yun is not her name, but a form of address. She is Ancestral Master Linghua's personal disciple, so we call her Little Ancestor Yun." "What the hell? Ancestral Master Linghua's personal disciple. Sect Master, are you out of your mind? Ancestral Master Linghua has ascended for tens of thousands of years, how could he accept a little girl as his disciple? Elder Sun could not believe his ears. It's true. Ancestral Master Linghua had once left a message that whoever could find the treasure he left behind in the South Jade Square would be his personal disciple. Coincidentally, that treasure was discovered by Yun Chuzhou, so she became Ancestral Master Linghua's personal disciple. Look, the staff in her hand was left behind by Ancestral Master Linghua. Elder Sun looked at the short staff in Yun Chuzhou's hand, and the corner of his eyes twitched violently. That was the treasure. No matter how I look at it, it looks like a rolling pin. Moreover, a heavenly thunder spirit root. This little girl had been dodging the entire time and did not use any spiritual power to attack. At most, she used the rolling pin to hit the wind blades flying at her. What exactly was she planning? Of course, although Elder Sun had a bad temper, it did not mean that he was stupid. He would not ask this question without reason. That little girl had been mischievous back then. Maybe she was planning something. I do not want to ruin her plans. Yun Chuzhou had been avoiding Du Gai's attack, but she did not fight back until the voice transmission talisman in her storage ring started to vibrate, the corner of this guy's mouth curled up. Wang Ba-yi, I've let you use so many moves, but you still can't hit me. What a waste. Now it's my turn. Take this. Little Joe's Thunderbolt. Chapter 9-10, A Promise to Repay the Favor. Following Yun Chuzhou's words, lightning bolt after lightning bolt struck Du Gai. Du Gai hurriedly dodged. Although he had heard of Yun Chuzhou's heavenly thunder root spirit, this was the first time he had seen it with his own eyes. Not only was Yun Chuzhou able to use purple heavenly lightning, but her left and right hands were also able to continuously strike without pause. His heart tightened. This little girl was indeed strange. Although Du Gai was 2 levels higher than Yun Chuzhou in terms of spirit power, his spirit power was stimulated by medicinal pills. Moreover, he had been fighting for the past few days, and his spirit power had also been greatly depleted. Compared to Yun Chuzhou, he was slightly at a disadvantage. However, Yun Chuzhou had a cheat, and that was her mouth. While fighting, she was also insulting Du Gai. Although Du Gai had sought refuge with the godly Devil Hall for the great Tao of longevity, he could not say that he did not have the slightest bit of guilt in his heart. He was flustered by Yun Chuzhou's barrage of derogatory words. Yun Chuzhou saw an opening and shot a bolt of lightning at Du Gai's left shoulder. Du Gai let out a miserable cry, clutched his shoulder, and jumped to the side. Yun Chuzhou did not continue to chase after him. Instead, she hooked her finger at Su Yanran. Su Yanran, do you feel that you can't be seen in public, so you put on a purple mask? Su Yanran sneered and slowly walked over. Yun Chuzhou, I didn't expect that the trash from back then would have the time to fight me. However, your glory will only last until today. Su Yanran, don't you feel guilty saying that? Don't you know why your spiritual power rose so quickly? You have the nerve to call me trash. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. Humph. I have my reasons for that. Yun Chuzhou, don't think that you can win against Du Gai. You are not my opponent. I will make you admit your defeat today. Su Yanran did not use her weapon, instead, she formed a seal with her hands and thousands of wind blades flew toward Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou suddenly jumped up and dodged the wind blades. Before she landed on the ground, a bolt of lightning had already flown toward Su Yanran. Su Yanran dodged and then threw out a few more wind blades. The two of them were evenly matched. Master Shenyuan frowned. Little Jiu was no match for Su Yanran. In less than 15 minutes, she would definitely begin to slow down. Sure enough, after 15 minutes, Yun Chuzhou was at a disadvantage. She could only parry and had no strength to fight back. Su Yanran finally released her pent-up anger from the past few years. She said proudly, Yun Chujio, trash will always be trash. You will never surpass me. So what if you have a heavenly thunder spirit root? So what if you can seduce men? You are still trash. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Su Yanran, don't celebrate too early. Look at the sword. As Yun Chujio spoke, 5 immortal swords suddenly flew out and stabbed toward Su Yanran. The 5 immortal swords were all aimed at Su Yanran's vital points. Su Yanran was shocked. She was caught off guard and could not dodge in time. She had no choice but to use her spiritual energy shield to withstand the attack. The two of them fought again. Everyone was dumbfounded. Gosh, one person could actually command 5 flying swords at the same time. This is an illusion, right? How powerful was her spiritual sense? Even someone at the peak of the 9th layer of the spiritual emperor realm could not pull that off. Elder Sun's mouth was wide open. This little girl was indeed powerful. He suddenly remembered that back when they were outside Yi City, the little girl had once said that she would repay them with a small favor. At that time, they had thought that it was just a joke. At that moment, he did not expect that he would have to rely on this little girl to turn the tide. Chapter 9:11, Wind Root Spirit. Su Yanran's eyes were filled with the flames of jealousy. This Yun Chujio had not only become more beautiful, but her spiritual power had also grown immensely. She had to get rid of her today. Although she could use Yun Xiaotian as leverage if needed, if she could not defeat her with her own power today, sooner or later, it would gnaw at her conscience. Thinking of that, Su Yanran intensified her attacks. The wind blades she used had a faint golden glow. Everyone cried out in surprise. This Su Yanran actually had a mutated wind root spirit. The wind blades that were used by people with wind root spirits would have a golden glow. No wonder Su Yanran's spiritual power had increased so quickly. Other than the aid of medicinal pills, it was probably also related to her wind root spirit. Everyone looked at the two young girls fighting and could not help but sigh. A true hero was born from youth. The two young girls were no more than 20 years old, but their cultivation levels were out of this world. It was a pity that Su Yanran was a member of the godly Devil Hall. No matter how talented she was, it was such a waste she had joined the wrong side. After a moment, the scales of victory once again tilted towards Su Yanran. Commanding 5 flying swords at the same time sorely taxed Yun Chujio's spiritual sense. Moreover, she had to dodge those golden wind blades at the same time. Yun Chujio gradually weakened from fatigue. Although Yun Chujio could release the demonic beasts and attack together with everyone else, when two enemies fought, the commander-in-chief was like the representative of the army they led. If the commander-in-chief was defeated, then it would greatly damage the morale of the soldiers. I have to think of a way to defeat Su Yanran. Yun Chujio could let Little Black Bird out and curse her opponents, but that move was her trump card. She had to save it for the most critical moment and use it when Su Yanran used her secret technique to prevent her from escaping. Therefore, she had to think of another way. Yun Chujio tried hard to hold on while thinking of a way to beat Su Yanran. One by one, she rejected all the ideas. Whether it was using a spiritual pet or a demon beast to help, it would be an unfair victory. She had to rely on her own spiritual power. Yun Chujio was distracted, so she could not dodge the few golden wind blades that flew toward her. Fortunately, she had enough defensive spiritual tools on her. With a flash of light, she blocked the golden wind blades, but the spiritual tools also shattered. An attack from one of the 9th level of the spiritual emperor realm was still extremely powerful even if it was just one wind blade. Following that, the defensive spiritual tools on Yun Chujio's body shattered with a crackling sound. Hearing that, everyone's hearts trembled. Some people could not help but shout, "Little Ancestor Yun, if you can't hold on, let's attack her together." Yun Chuzhou replied while she dodged another of Su Yanran's attacks, "Don't worry, this traitor isn't a match for me. I'll kill her myself." Su Yanran sneered, "Yun Chuzhou, you're really stubborn. I'm no match for you. I'll send you to hell right now." "Go to hell? If you want to go there, you can go yourself. You shameless little bitch, I'll strike you to death with lightning. Take this. And this. And this. And this." Yun Chuzhou kept up her verbal assault alongside her lightning attacks, however, her heart grew more uncertain. This Su Yanran was too difficult to deal with. She was no match for her at all. Should she give up just like that? Not to mention losing face, the potential damage to the morale of her allies was too great. What should she do to kill her? Yun Chuzhou suddenly gritted her teeth. For now, she could only forcefully break through. She was now at the 5th level of the spiritual emperor realm. After breaking through, she could at least reach the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm. When that time came, she could fight on par with her. That was what she should do. Therefore, while Yun Chuzhou was fighting with Su Yanran, she quickly refined the power of lightning from the strange grass at the same time. The power of lightning in her meridians and dantian steadily increased. Chapter 9:12 Kill all of you. Seeing that Yun Chuzhou gradually weakened, Su Yanran was delighted. This blight on her conscience that had plagued her for 3 years was about to be dispelled. As long as she killed Yun Chuzhou, the Azure Mystic Continent would be within her grasp. As the joy of her impending victory filled her heart, her attacks became increasingly fierce. On the other hand, Yun Chuzhou slowly retreated in defeat. The people of the Spirit Radiance sect felt their hearts clench. Little Jiu was going to lose. If she was in danger, they would save her no matter what. Thus, everyone was on full alert. They were prepared to save Yun Chuzhou when she was on the verge of defeat. Someone suddenly noticed that the sky had started to turn dark. Everyone looked up and saw several dark clouds gathering toward them. Everyone thought to themselves, could it be that it was going to rain? However, Yun Chuzhou's heart was filled with joy. The gathering of dark clouds meant that she was about to break through successfully. She only needed to hold on for a little longer. At that time, with the power of the heavenly lightning, she would definitely be able to get rid of Su Yanran. Just as Yun Chuzhou was thinking about this, Su Yanran caught her by surprise. A gold wind blade tore through her spiritual energy barrier and landed on her left arm. Fresh blood immediately oozed out. Yun Chuzhou was in so much pain that she shivered. This pain stimulated her fighting spirit even more. She smiled brightly and said, "Su Yanran, my ultimate move is about to come. I advise you to kneel and admit your mistakes right now. I might let you live." Su Yanran was so angry that she was amused. "Yun Chuzhou, are you delusional? You should be the one kneeling. In less than 15 minutes, you will die without a doubt." "Without a doubt? Then let's wait and see. Let's see who dies in the end." Yun Chuzhou continued to increase her spiritual power and finally reached the critical point of breaking through. At this moment, the sky gradually darkened. The gathered Wu Yun suddenly struck down a bolt of purple lightning. Yun Chuzhou immediately screamed and moved closer to Su Yanran. "Damn, you stupid Wu Yun, you can't even hit me. If you don't believe me, you can try. I'm running so fast." These Wu Yun were the same ones that struck Yun Chuzhou at Longping Mountain back then. They thought that they had already killed Yun Chuzhou, this scourge, but they did not expect that she was still alive. They were too angry at Yun Chuzhou, so they repeatedly struck at her. This time, no matter what, they had to kill her. Although they did not injure the innocent, they would occasionally miss. When they saw Yun Chuzhou running around in all directions, they were so annoyed that they kept trying to hit her. The people from the Spirit Radiance sect had long known about Yun Chuzhou's abilities and knew that they had to retreat far away. However, the people from the godly devil hall did not know what was happening. The first one to suffer was Su Yanran, who was closest to Yun Chuzhou. A bolt of heavenly lightning was supposed to strike Yun Chuzhou, but, unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou suddenly turned her body, and that bolt of lightning struck Su Yanran instead. It was already too late for Su Yanran to dodge, so she could only use her spiritual energy barrier to block the bolt of heavenly lightning. Su Yanran was so angry that she gnashed her teeth. Just as she was about to settle the score with Yun Chuzhou, she found that Yun Chuzhou was charging toward the people from the godly devil hall. She was provoking the heavenly lightning while she ran amongst the godly devil hall forces, and the heavenly lightning was so angry that it could not differentiate between right and wrong. Although most of the lightning struck Yun Chuzhou, there were still quite a number of heavenly lightning strikes that struck the people from the godly devil hall. Although some people were not injured, they had lost quite a number of spirit weapons. Some unlucky people were even severely injured. The people from the godly devil hall immediately retreated quickly as if they were avoiding the plague. This was a devil who could not be killed by the heavenly lightning strikes. She was a monster. Chapter 9:13, Soaring Spiritual Power. Su Yanran almost went crazy when she saw the scene in front of her. This Yun Chuzhou was so freakish that even the heavenly lightning could not kill her. This damn heavenly lightning had terrible timing. Why did it come here now? It was detestable. The Wu Yun in the sky kept attacking for a short while, and then for some reason, it suddenly withdrew. Yun Chuzhou was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Why did this damn heavenly lightning stop? It was infuriating. Fortunately, her spiritual power had already risen to the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm, and she had achieved her goal. Seeing that the heavenly lightning had stopped, Su Yanran looked at Yun Chuzhou. To her astonishment, she found that Yun Chuzhou's eyes were actually emitting purple lightning, which made her look extremely demonic. Taking a closer look, she found that Yun Chuzhou's eyes were no different from ordinary persons. She thought to herself, could it be that she had been seeing things? Yun Chuzhou, the heavenly lightning didn't kill you. I'm here to finish the job. Seeing Yun Chuzhou's abnormal abilities, Su Yanran was even more anxious to get rid of Yun Chuzhou. As long as this bitch Yun Chuzhou was alive, she would never be able to make a name for herself, her big plans would never be completed. She had to kill her. Yun Chuzhou smiled at her. Then, Su Yanran and the others noticed that the level of Yun Chuzhou's spiritual power was slowly increasing. It was at the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th level of the spiritual emperor realm. It only stopped when she reached the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm. Everyone was shocked. How could this be? Although Yun Chuzhou might have hidden her spiritual power, she was at most at the 5th level of the spiritual emperor realm. How could she reach the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm in such a short time? This did not make sense. Could this be the perverse part of the heavenly thunder spiritual root? Su Yanran was also shocked. She did not think too much and immediately resumed her attacks. She planned to take Yun Chuzhou down while her spiritual power was still unstable. Yun Chuzhou smiled faintly. She waved her right hand and released 2 bolts of lightning. Then, she waved her left hand, and another 2 bolts of lightning shot out. Moreover, the lightning she fired this time was also much thicker than before. Su Yanran hurriedly dodged. Yun Chuzhou waved her hands repeatedly, and lightning bolts continuously flew towards Su Yanran. The two of them were once again entangled in battle. The people of the Spirit Radiance sect were pleasantly surprised to find that although Yun Chuzhou's spiritual power was still not as high as Su Yanran's, Yun Chuzhou had the upper hand in the situation. If the fight dragged on, Su Yanran would lose. Su Yanran also realized the same thing at that point. Her entire person had suffered a huge blow. Impossible. She was already so strong, so how could Yun Chuzhou, this trash, still be able to defeat her? It was impossible. Su Yanran gritted her teeth. Forget it. Her doubts could be solved later. She had to kill Yun Chujio first. Thus, she jumped back and sneered, Yun Chujio, stop. If you want Yun Xiaotian to live, you have to kill yourself immediately. What did you do to my grandfather? I have to see my grandfather safe and sound with my own eyes. Yun Chujio indeed panicked. She completely lost her calm and self-confidence from before. Su Yanran immediately revealed a smug smile, so what if you're strong? I found your weakness. I had no doubt that you'd stop when I mentioned your grandfather. Su Yanran took out a voice transmission talisman and sent a message to the golden-masked man guarding Yun Xiaotian. She motioned for him to bring Yun Xiaotian over. Then, to her horror, she realized that the voice transmission talisman had not worked. Su Yanran sent another voice transmission talisman to another golden-masked man, but it also did not work. This could only mean one thing. They had already been killed. Yun Xiaotian must have already been rescued. Chapter 9:14 Demonic Beasts Unleashed. Su Yanran's face immediately turned ashen. That was impossible. She had sent 15 golden-masked men to guard Yun Xiaotian. They all had spiritual power above the 6th layer of the Spirit Emperor realm, and they were not far from here. How could they be taken out? Yun Chujio laughed mockingly. Su Yanran, you still don't admit that your brain isn't working. You only sent a few people to guard the hostages, and they aren't even in sight. Don't you think you're even dumber than a pig? Did you send people to kidnap Yun Xiaotian? Su Yanran's face was ashen. Yun Xiaotian was her trump card, but she had not expected Yun Chujio to send people to save him. What now, Su Yanran? Your trump card is already gone. Now it's time for us to fight to the death. Yun Chujio said with a cold smile. Only then did Su Yanran remember that the young Master Di and Yun Chuling who had always been by Yun Chujio's side had not appeared. Presumably, they were the ones who went to save him. No wonder when Yun Chujio fought with Du Gai previously, she could have won, yet, she just rambled on and on while fighting her. It turned out that she was trying to stall for time and divert her attention. She was really cunning. Humph. Yun Chujio, although I don't have Yun Xiaotian as my trump card anymore, just you people alone are not our match. Moreover, we still have the people of the 5 cities in our hands. If you dare to make a move, I will give the order to kill those people. Su Yanran, do you take me for a fool? Those people were captured by you to provide the blood source for the evil formation. How could they have a chance to live? Moreover, you are getting ahead of yourself. We don't only have the forces you see here. We also have many reinforcements elsewhere. Moreover, they are very powerful reinforcements. Su Yanran sneered and said, Yun Chujio, there is a limit to your boasting. Almost all the high-level cultivators of the Azure Mystic Continent are here. What other reinforcements could you possibly have? Could it be the people at the spirit enhancement level? Yun Chujio did not answer her. Instead, she said to the people of the Spirit Radiance sect behind her, you guys make some space. The bigger the better. I'm going to call for reinforcements. Some people knew that Yun Chujio was going to release the demonic beasts, but others did not. They thought to themselves, why did she ask to make room for reinforcements? However, because of Yun Chujio's usual strange behavior, they all obediently moved away. Yun Chujio raised her hand, and high-level demon beasts began to appear in the empty space one after another. Immediately, the earth-shaking roars of the beasts resounded throughout the entire Spirit Radiance sect, and they could even be heard within a radius of several hundred li. Those demon beasts, especially the demon beasts of the Elixir Valley, hated the people of the godly Devil Hall to death. Fuck, if it wasn't for you guys, we would have been fine in the Elixir Valley. Would we have had to submit to this little devil? Would we have to leave our homes and follow her all the way to seek revenge on you guys? We have been starving for a few days. We are going to eat our fill using you as food. The demonic beasts had fierce looks in their eyes as they stared at the people from the godly devil hall across from them. When the people from the godly devil hall saw so many high-level demonic beasts, they almost wet their pants in fear. Fuck. This Yunchujio was not human. How could she get so many demonic beasts, and they were all high-level ones? Why did these demonic beasts listen to her commands? How was this possible? Su Yanran's heart suddenly sank. It was over. The situation was over. If they only had those cultivators to contend with, the victory of the godly devil hall would be assured. However, with so many high-level demonic beasts around, even if they doubled their manpower, they would still not be a match for them. The only thing they could do now was to retreat to the Heavenly Gate sect first, and then find an opportunity to counterattack. Chapter 9:15 The hand that tore open the void. Su Yanran thought of this and said to her subordinates, "Retreat." Yun Chujio did not say anything and did not give the order to give chase. Instead, she smiled as she watched Su Yanran and the people from the godly devil hall escape from the square. Just as everyone was puzzled, they realized that the people from the godly devil hall had retreated. The handsome man in white and the charming man in red led a group of high-level demon beasts and forced the people from the godly devil hall back. Su Yanran gritted her teeth and wanted to ride her sword to leave. However, thousands of demon birds flew over from the sky. Their huge wings covered the sky and the sun, firmly guarding the sky. The people of the godly devil hall were lost to panic. They were surrounded. There was no way to escape. The golden masked emissaries wanted to use the secret technique to escape. However, Yun Chujio was already on guard against this. Before they could start forming seals, the demon birds in the sky swooped down just as they bit their fingers. These demonic birds could even see the tiny ants on the ground when they were thousands of feet in the air. It was simply too easy to pick on these people. Those gold-masked men were unable to complete the seal after being attacked by the demonic birds. At that moment, the demonic beasts also charged towards the people from the godly devil hall under Yun Chujio's command. The godly devil hall forces had already been fighting here for several days and had used up most of their spiritual energy. Now, they trembled with fear. Very soon, more than half of them were mauled to death and killed by the demonic beasts. Some people began to kneel and beg for mercy. Those demonic beasts did not care for such things. In their eyes, other than that little devil, everything else was food. Seeing this, Su Yanran wanted to use the secret technique to escape. Yun Chujio had been watching her intently, so how could she let her have her way? Su Yanran was about to form a seal, but unexpectedly, she stumbled. At the same time, Yun Chujio's purple heavenly lightning, Di Baiming's ice dragon, and Xue Wuji's spirit skull bomb all smashed towards her. Su Yanran was scared out of her wits. It was too late for her to dodge. She quickly activated her spiritual energy shield. Although she blocked this attack, she spat out a mouthful of blood. Before she could recover, the second round of attacks came at her. She activated her spiritual energy shield again and blocked another attack. She spat out another mouthful of blood. Su Yanran's was crestfallen. It's over. I don't have any spiritual power to raise my spiritual power shield anymore. Don't tell me that I, Su Yanran, will lose my life just like that. Yun Chujio and the other two attacked again. Su Yanran closed her eyes and waited for death on the spot. At that moment, something unexpected happened. No one expected that just when Yun Chujio and the other two's attacks were about to hit Su Yanran, a crack was torn open in the air. Suddenly, a big hand appeared and dragged Su Yanran into it. Before Yun Chujio and the other two could react, the crack had already disappeared as if nothing had happened. However, Su Yanran had disappeared without a trace. Yun Chujio was stunned for a moment. Then, she began to command the demonic beasts to clean up the remaining people of the godly devil hall. She deliberately left a few golden-masked men behind for Di Biming to conduct a soul search. As the godly Devil Hall had revealed themselves, those forces were no longer hidden. Therefore, even without the clues provided by these golden-masked men, it was very easy to find those forces. In their spiritual senses, there was very little information about that master. Even the information about Su Yanran was only limited to the usual orders given, and the person who usually contacted them was another purple-masked man. That purple-masked man was much older than Su Yanran. Some golden-masked men had been recruited by him 10 years ago. At that time, Su Yanran was only a few years old, and they were all already bribed and groomed by another purple-masked man. Chapter 9:16, The Ruthless Godly Devil Hall, Prince Charming, where is the place where they went to swear their allegiance to the Godly Devil Hall? How did they set it up? Yun Chuzhou recalled that Ren Lizzie had once said that they, silver-masked men, had to go somewhere to be initiated into the Godly Devil Hall. Di Biming curled the corners of his lips. It's at the evil formation that we destroyed at Longping Mountain. It seems that there's something else going on inside. After we're done here, well, go check it out again. Yun Chuzhou nodded. The battle was nearing its end. The people from the Godly Devil Hall were no match for the demonic beasts. Moreover, when they saw that Su Yanran had disappeared, they lost their fighting spirit and were quickly annihilated. Du Gai's cultivation was crippled by Master Shenyuan and his men. He was locked up because he was the only one who knew many secrets of the Heavenly Gates sect and had to be handed over to the Heavenly Gates sect to deal with. Unexpectedly, Du Gai suddenly bled to death from his orifices just as he was tied up. Those gold-masked men who were used by Di Biming to perform soul-searching on also ended up like Du Gai. They bled to death from their orifices. It was probably done by that purple-masked man or Su Yanran using evil techniques. They were really ruthless. Yun Chuzhou arranged for a portion of people to stay behind to clean up the battlefield. Then, she brought a portion of people and all the demon beasts to the Heavenly Gates sect to assist another group of cultivators. Just as Yun Chuzhou had guessed, the other group did not suffer much resistance after they arrived at the Heavenly Gates sect. The followers of the Godly Devil Hall had all gone to the Spirit Radiance sect. Other than a few gold-masked men, the rest were regular followers of the Heavenly Gates sect. They had only been forced by Du Gai and Su Yanran, so they had immediately turned against them after hearing that others were fighting against those two. They had helped them deal with the gold-masked men. After killing the gold-masked men, they followed Yun Chuzhou's instructions and first rescued the trapped commoners before destroying the evil formation. By the time Yun Chuzhou arrived, things had already come to an end. Yun Chuzhou had left behind some alchemists to help the commoners, then brought everyone else to the Skyblade sect and the Bixiao Palace. It did not take much effort to subdue the two sects, and without exception, the gold-masked men and silver-masked men had all bled to death from their 7 orifices. It was clear that the Godly Devil Hall had treated these people as pawns and had directly silenced them. Everyone sighed. These people were still dreaming of ascending. Even if they could find the eye of the earth, they would probably end up like this. How foolish. However, the Godly Devil Hall's ruthlessness could be seen from this. It was likely that only the purple-masked men would benefit, and the others were just chess pieces that could be discarded at any time. Yun Chuzhou led her men in a rush to Longping Mountain without rest. What shocked them was that the original underground palace had been razed to the ground, and there was a burnt smell from inside. The Godly Devil Hall forces must have burned the things inside before destroying it. A shadow could not help but cover the hearts of the people. They were afraid that the Godly Devil Hall would make a comeback. Yun Chuzhou cleared her throat and said, "Everyone, don't worry too much. Although we did not completely destroy the Godly Devil Hall this time, we have already eliminated the majority of their forces in the Azure Mystic Continent. Even if they want to make a comeback, it will take them several years. During this period, as long as everyone is on guard, it will not be easy for them to exert their influence. Moreover, the person who saved Su Yanran is very likely to be the master. It seems that he must have torn through the void to save Su Yanran. This means that he cannot step foot in the Azure Mystic Continent personally, he can only make use of his lackeys to help him accomplish his goals. Therefore, their strength won't be too terrifying. As long as we are united, even if they make a comeback, we can destroy them again. Chapter 9:17, The Days of Self-Indulgence. When everyone heard Yun Chujia's words, they all nodded. She was right. As long as they strengthened their defenses, it would not be so easy for the godly Devil Hall to strike back. Moreover, they had suffered a great loss this time. They would not have the chance to turn things around for at least another decade. Everyone returned to the Spirit Radiance sect once again. The disciples there were currently cleaning up the battlefield. This calamity had destroyed 1/3 of the Spirit Radiance sect's foundation that had existed for tens of thousands of years. Were it not for Yun Chujia's efforts in turning things around, the Spirit Radiance sect would probably no longer exist. Since the matter had temporarily come to an end, the people of the various sects all made their farewells. Yun Chujio waved her little hands to send everyone off. As the people of the Spirit Radiance sect had to rebuild their sect, they were also extremely busy. Yun Chujio simply greeted Master Xianyuan and then went with Di Baiming, Shui Wuji, and the others to find a place to resettle the demon beasts. The demon beasts originally from the demon beast forest were naturally sent back there. Yun Chujio had promised these demon beasts that after the battle, she would give them blood coagulation pills. After fulfilling her promise, she sent them all back to the demon beast forest. The demon beasts in the Elixir Valley were more accustomed to life in the valley, so Yun Chujio sent them off and released them in a few different valleys. The Leopard King and the Golden Tortoise were still somewhat reluctant to part, so Yun Chujio secretly gave them some pills, only then did these two fellows leave happily. The corners of Yun Chujio's eyes twitched. Damn it, she thought that they were genuinely reluctant to part with her, but it turned out that they were trying to swindle some additional benefits off her. The illusionary electric elan, the spirit beast bag, was the most miserable. It was different from others. Only was the only sea beast and had to be sent somewhere appropriate. Moreover, the Spirit Radiance sect was located deep inland, so Yun Chujio did not have any plans to go toward the sea. For the time being, it could only continue to stay in the spirit beast bag in misery. Di Baiming and Shui Wuji helped Yun Chujio settle down those demon beasts and also returned to the Tian Yuan continent one after another. They felt that it was necessary to thoroughly investigate the situation in the Tian Yuan continent to prevent the godly Devil Hall from also setting foot in the Tian Yuan continent. After Yun Chujio waved her little handkerchief to send the two of them off, the days of self-indulgence began. To thank Yun Chujio for saving their lives, the various sects invited Yun Chujio as their guest. Not only did she finish eating everything, but she also returned with a full load of leftovers each time. She had found it fun and had been happily attending banquets all day long. She had also earned a lot of money. Most importantly, she had also obtained 2 pieces of the Great Void Mirror fragments from the Bixiao Palace and the Skyblade sect. After the Great Void Mirror was repaired, it was upgraded again, and it could release low-grade earth-grade spirit herbs and demon beasts below the 9th level. In the past, Yun Chujio would have been very satisfied, but now she had high standards and felt that this function was underwhelming. It was not good enough, so she had to continue her search for the remaining broken pieces. She indulged herself for a month and before she started to do her work. That was to find a way to improve the aptitude of the Yun siblings. Although they had been cultivating diligently, their aptitude was limited. If they did not find a way to improve, they would probably end up stuck at the 5th level of the spiritual emperor realm, with no hope of ascending further. Although Feng Ming and the other 2 were much more talented than them, they would be hundreds of years old before they ascended. Firstly, Yun Chujio wanted to help them, and secondly, she had her own selfish motives for doing so. It would not be long before she ascended to the Tian Yuan continent, and the Yun residents would not be at ease. If the Yun siblings' spiritual power increased by a large margin, they would be able to better help protect it. In addition, she felt that she should bring a few others along to enter the Tian Yuan Academy. Otherwise, if she was alone, she might not be able to compete with those naturally talented disciples there. Feng Ming and the other two had just broken through to the first level of the Spirit Emperor realm a few days ago. Their aptitude was not bad, and as long as they had the appropriate medicinal pills to assist them, they would be able to ascend together with her. That little bitch Su Yanran used less than a year to soar to the 9th level of the Spirit Sovereign realm, so that meant would be medicinal pills that would allow Feng Ming and the others to rapidly advance. She had this sort of mysterious confidence, and so she began to attempt all sorts of things. Chapter 9:18, The Universal Essence Cleansing Pill. The demonic beasts in the Great Void Mystic Realm had become guinea pigs. Yun Chuzhou had locked herself in the courtyard all day to fiddle with the pills and then test them on those low-level demonic beasts. After those demonic beasts ate the pills that Yun Chuzhou fiddled with, some of them grew an additional tail, some of them had 3 mouths, some of them had colorful fur, and the saddest one was an earth-splitter brown bear. All of its fur had fallen off. From then on, it began to run around naked. When the Yun siblings, Feng Ming, and the others came to visit Yun Chuzhou told them about her intention to concoct pills. At first, everyone was filled with anticipation and joy, but after seeing those demonic beasts that ate Yun Chuzhou's pills, one by one, they fled at high speed. Damn it! How was that a pill that could raise one's aptitude? Those were pills that could kill. They would rather cultivate steadily than eat those pills. They didn't want to become monsters. Yun Chuzhou was undeterred. Even though she had failed countless times, she still stayed in the courtyard and fiddled around. Elder Qi was very interested in her experiments. Sometimes, he would come over to join in on the fun. That day, Elder Qi ran over excitedly. Little Jiu, I found this. Quick, take a look." Although Yun Chuzhi's identity as Little Ancestor Yun was confirmed, she felt that there was no point in putting on airs. Thus, he still let Elder Qi and the others call him Little Jiu. That way, both sides would be more at ease. Yun Chuzhi saw that Elder Qi had handed over a yellowed sheepskin scroll. When she opened it, it seemed to be a handwritten letter. "Little Jiu, didn't our Spirit Radiance sect suffer a heavy blow previously?" Although the library wasn't attacked, the sect leader felt that since most of the grounds were being renovated, the library should be renovated as well. When a disciple was organizing the library, he found this handwritten letter under a bookshelf. It seemed to be used to pad the bookshelf. "Little Jiu, look at this record of the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill. Is it similar to the medicinal pill you want to refine?" When Yun Chuzhi saw the record, she was ecstatic. After taking this Universal Essence Cleansing Pill, it could remove the impurities in a person's spirit root. Although it could not reach the level of a heavenly spirit root, it could increase the purity of the spirit root to above 8 stars. Yun Chuzhi was very puzzled. Why was such a good pill formula not passed down? She continued reading and saw that although the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill's effect was heaven-defying, there were many restrictions. One had to have a body of Yuan Yang and Yuan Yin under the age of 25, and their spiritual power level had to be above the 5th layer of the Spirit Cultivator realm. If one's aptitude was not good, how would one reach the 5th layer of the Spirit Cultivator realm before the age of 25? That was the first reason. The second reason was that the pill's effect was too heaven-defying. Once it was refined, it would definitely attract heavenly lightning. At the very least, the alchemist's cultivation would be impaired, and at the very worst, they would be struck to death. Thirdly, the medicinal herbs required for this pill were all high-grade earth grade, especially one of the primordial fruit. It was rarely seen in the world and was hard to find. Therefore, this pill formula was of little value. Although its effects were astonishing, it had no flexibility. Yun Chujio rubbed her chin. The first one was easy to handle. Fourth brother and the others had just broken through to the fifth layer of the spirit cultivator realm a few days ago. Moreover, they usually kept their bodies clean and did not do anything that involved pleasure with the opposite gender. As for senior brother Feng Ming and the other two, it was hard to say. She would ask them one day. The second one was even less of a problem. She could not wait for the heavenly lightning to strike her. She was very willing to be struck, so she welcomed it. However, the third one was a little difficult to handle. She could collect and obtain other herbs. It was just that the Prince Charming had given her 2 primordial fruits back then, but they had all been eaten by her. If she had known earlier, she would have kept them. Chapter 919, The Sea of Stars. Elder Qi saw Yun Chujia's frown and said, "Little girl, this opportunity can be encountered but not sought. Take it slowly. Don't be too anxious." Yun Chujio nodded. The two of them exchanged some knowledge on alchemy before Elder Qi bade farewell and left. Just as Yun Chujio was frowning, Little Black Bird said from the treetop, "Master, I remember that you buried the core of a primordial fruit there. Why don't you dig it out and take a look? What if it sprouts?" However, there hasn't been any movement for such a long time. "I'm afraid it's going to be tough." Before Little Black Bird could finish his words, Yun Chujio jumped to the corner like a rabbit and took out a small shovel to start searching. "Strange. Why is it gone? I remember it clearly. I buried it here. Why is it gone? Is it rotten? Has it turned into mud?" Yun Chujio turned the courtyard into a mess, but she could not find the core of the primordial fruit. She sat on the ground and panted dejectedly. This guy thought for a while and took out a voice transmission talisman. "Primordial God, do you still have any primordial fruits with you?" "No, I got the 2 by chance. It is said that the primordial fruit tree is very rare and it is hard to find it." Di Baiming asked Yun Chujio why she wanted the primordial fruit. Yun Chujio told him the reason. Di Baiming promised Yun Chujio to send people to look for it but told her not to have too much hope. The chances of finding one were very slim. Yun Chujio grew depressed. The pill formula was already a rare find, but she did not expect that she would be forced to give up because of the lack of one of the main ingredients. However, she quickly adjusted itself and began to gather other materials. Once she found more primordial fruits, she could immediately refine the pill. After gathering all the other materials, Yun Chujio decided to try her luck. She could also find somewhere to settle the illusionary electric eel along the way. When the illusionary electric eel heard that the little devil was finally going to send it back to the sea, it was so excited that it almost fainted. It had almost given up hope but did not expect the little devil to keep her word. Not only did she want to send it back to the sea, but she also refined a restorative pill for it. She wanted to repair its damaged spiritual sense. Yun Chujio took the flying spirit tool and rushed to the nearest Sea of Stars. There were many islands in the Sea of Stars, just like the stars in the sky, so it was aptly named the Sea of Stars. Yun Chujio thought of Qing Si as soon as she got on the flying spirit tool. Qing Si had saved the lives of the Yun siblings at a critical moment, but she was very secretive about her own life. Seeing that she was unwilling to say more at the time, Yun Chujio did not ask further. In short, Qing Si's background was probably complicated. The Prince Charming had said that a flying spirit tool with offensive ability was considered rare in the Tian Yuan continent. Qing Si's spaceship's offensive ability should be limited in the Azure Mystic continent. If it were used in the Tian Yuan continent, its power would be even more shocking. 20 days later, Yun Chujio arrived at the Sea of Stars. Just like what was recorded in the books, the islands were densely packed. From afar, it looked like a sky filled with stars against the blue seawater. Yun Chujio summoned the merchant ship that she got from the Yongxing Trading Company. After boarding it, she sailed into the sea. After reaching the deep sea, Yun Chujio released the illusionary electric eel. Little Loach, your new home is here. The illusionary electric eel almost cried when it entered the water. It finally saw the sea again. It was finally free. The illusionary electric eel bowed to Yun Chujio, then dived into the sea and disappeared. Damn! This heartless person left just like that. He should have thanked me for a while before he left. While Yun Chujio was mumbling, she saw the water in front of her churning. The illusionary electric eel had a big silver-white fish in its mouth. Chapter 920, Stewed Fish. Yun Chujio recognized the silver-white fish. It was a silver-scaled wrasse unique to the Sea of Stars. Its meat was delicious, but because it was a level 10 sea beast, it was hard to catch, so it was rarely sold on the market. Yun Chujio immediately forgot about the words that she had said to the illusionary electric eel. She smiled amiably and said, "Little Loach, I knew you were a grateful person. Thank you for your generous gift." The illusionary electric eel threw the silver-scaled wrasse onto the deck and dived into the sea again. Yun Chujio forgot about her original goal. After preparing the silver-scaled wrasse, she cut a large piece of fish meat and stewed it. Not long after, the entire boat was filled with a strange fragrance. She could not stop drooling. The three silly munchkins' eyeballs were about to fall off. They stared at the big pot, waiting for the meat to be cooked so they could feast on it. Little Black Rat was now close to losing its mind. Originally, it rarely ate anything other than oars. Now that it had been corrupted by Yun Chujio with delicious food, it no longer ate oars and began to eat all kinds of foods. Just as the four foodies were about to feast, a fishing boat quickly sailed over. Behind the fishing boat, there was a big boat chasing it. The people on the boat shouted, "Stop! Hand over the treasure you found, or I will destroy your Big Dipper Island. He Quan, you old man, if you don't stop, we will attack your Big Dipper Island right now. I heard that your daughter is as beautiful as a flower and jade. Well, ravage her first and then kill her to vent anger." "Right. After destroying Big Dipper Island, we'll reclaim the treasure ourselves." Yun Chujio frowned. Hearing that the people on the ship behind them behaved so aggressively, she thought, "Damn it, you dare to disturb me while I'm eating fish. You're courting death." Little Black Bird and the other two were even more furious. "Fuck! Where did these idiots come from? They dared interrupt our meal. We will torture him to death." The fishing ship had already passed Yun Chujio's ship. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes, then steered her ship between the larger ship and the fishing ship it pursued. "Are you fucking blind? How dare you block our Cape Star Islands boat? Come out and kowtow to confess your crimes." Someone on the boat immediately shouted. Yun Chujio boarded the deck from the cockpit and smiled coldly. "Kowtow to confess my crimes? You guys are making such a big fuss and disturbing my meal. You guys are the ones who should kowtow." The people on the big ship saw that it was actually a beautiful girl and were stunned at first, then, they started to laugh lewdly, "Ha ha ha. I didn't expect there to be an unexpected find. This little girl is really pretty. She is much more handsome than old He's daughter. Little girl, you delivered yourself to our door. Don't blame us for not being polite. Brothers, go. Take this little girl back and make her the island owner's wife. We will use this boat when we go back out to sea in the future. First, we will deal with this little girl, then we will chase that old man He Quan. Even if he runs away, the monk won't have anywhere else to go but his temple." A man with a scar on his face said arrogantly. Yun Chujio was about to say something, but she did not expect the fishing boat to return. "Miss, quickly drive the boat and run away. We will hold them back." The one who spoke was an old man. One look and one could tell that he had been working out at sea all year round. A life full of hardships could be seen on his face. There were more than 10 strong young men beside him, but their spiritual power levels were not that high. They were all at the first or second layer of the spirit cultivator realm, much lower than the people on the big boat. Chapter 921, Something Wrong with Her Brain. Yun Chujio raised her eyebrows. Old man, I thought you had already run away, why did you come back to save me? The old man smiled bitterly. Miss, although I am old, I am not blind. You are helping us, but it is obvious that you are a foreigner. Those are people from Cape Star Island. You cannot afford to offend them. Leave quickly. If I leave, what will you do? Us? The old man smiled bitterly. We're already used to it. At worst, it'll be another round of extortions and beatings. They won't kill us. They rely on us to earn spirit stones. Old man, what are you talking about? What extortion? If it weren't for our protection, with your weak spirit energy, would you be able to survive in this sea of stars? I'm afraid you would have been annexed by the other islands long ago. Ungrateful old man. Hurry up and hand over the treasure you found, and then get lost. Otherwise, I will destroy your Big Dipper Island. A man with a scarred face said fiercely. Island Lord Wu, we will hand over this bead to you. Can you release us together with this lady? The old man said with a bead in his hand. Fuck you. You still dare bargain with me? Hand over the bead and get lost. Scarface saw the bead and his eyes revealed a greedy light. When Yun Chujio saw the bead in the old man's hand, but she felt very puzzled. The bead in the old man's hand was a waterproof bead. It was really strange. Were waterproof beads not only available in the Endless Sea? How did the old man get it in the Sea of Stars? Forget it. I'll deal with those bastards first and then ask for details later. Little Loach, you overturned the boat in front of you. You bit everyone to death, not leaving a single one alive. Yun Chujio was anxious to find out the origin of the waterproof bead. Moreover, it was obvious that those people from Cape Star Island were usually up to no good. They deserved to die. When Scarface heard Yun Chujio's words, he could not help but laugh out loud. Although this girl is beautiful, her brain must be malfunctioning. What nonsense is she talking about? Little Loach, you've even overturned our boat. What nonsense are you talking about? However, it doesn't matter if her brain isn't working properly. Once she's on the bed, she'll be obedient. Ha ha ha. His underlings also agreed with foul language as they stared at Yun Chujio with lewd expressions. The old man from Big Dipper Island sighed. It seemed that there was indeed something wrong with this lattice brain. Who or what was this little Loach? At this moment, the large ship from Big Dipper Island was suddenly overturned. A huge sea beast with a bloody mouth swallowed the people who had fallen into the water. There were some screams from the capsized boat and then abrupt silence. The large ship had also sunk to the bottom of the sea. If it were not for the huge sea beast that kept fawning in front of the young lady, everything would have seemed like an illusion. The old man and the people on the ship rubbed their eyes and stared in disbelief. That was a level 13 illusionary electric eel, right? Oh God, this was a sea beast that only existed in the deepest part of the Sea of Stars, and it was rarely seen because the people who saw it did not make it back alive. Why would this illusionary electric eel listen to this little girl? This was too unbelievable. Yun Chujio praised the illusionary electric eel a few times and then asked the old man, is that a waterproof bead in your hand? The old man was stunned. He thought that Yun Chujio had taken a fancy to this waterproof bead, so he said with a trembling voice, This is indeed a waterproof bead. Fairy, if you like it, I'll give it to you. Yun Chujio smiled and shook her head. Old man, you've misunderstood. I don't want this bead. I'm just a little curious. Isn't this waterproof bead only available in the Endless Sea? How did you find one in the Sea of Stars? Chapter 922, Deep Sea Whirlpool. Fairy, you might not know this, but there is a whirlpool about 100 li from here. The current there is very fast, and we don't know where it leads to. However, rare items often float out of it. Although that place is extremely dangerous, we were forced to do so. All our income from fishing was given to Cape Star Island. We couldn't go on any longer, so we wanted to go there to try our luck. We didn't expect that we would be able to pick up this waterproof bead. Unfortunately, we found it and celebrated the discovery. We were found by the people of Cape Star Island, which was the event you stumbled upon just now. Fairy, usually, Cape Star Island oppresses our Big Dipper Island. You helped us get rid of the biggest threat. Please accept our gratitude. After the old man finished speaking, he brought the young people behind him to kneel and kowtow in thanks. Yun Chujio said a few polite words to let them stand up and then asked them about the whirlpool in front of them. Fairy, don't tell me you want to find out where the vortex leads. I advise you not to take the risk. We are forced to live here like this because we have no other choice. The vortex is extremely dangerous, and cultivators often lose their lives there. You'd better not go, the old man advised earnestly. Yun Chujio smiled and said, Old man, don't worry. I know what to do. Goodbye. After saying that, Yun Chujio returned to the cockpit and headed in the direction that the old man had pointed out. The illusionary electric eel shook its head and wagged its tail as it escorted her boat away. The ship and the beast gradually disappeared from the old man's sight. The old man shook his head. He hoped that this girl was safe. That whirlpool was not a joke. After the old man sighed, he commanded the young men to dive underwater and retrieve all the valuable items from the sunken ship on Cape Star Island. This time, they would be able to hold on for a long time. Yun Chujio soon discovered the whirlpool. It was indeed very dangerous at first glance. There were even whirlpool-like ripples on the surface of the sea. It was probably even more turbulent at the bottom of the sea. Yun Chujio kept the merchant ship anchored, then jumped into the sea. Then, she looked at the huge whirlpool. The whirlpool kept spiraling up from the bottom of the sea. From time to time, some things would be washed out of the whirlpool. Yun Chujio picked up some and looked at them. There were shells and some dead small fish. What surprised Yun Chujio was that some of the mussels only existed in the endless sea and freshwater fish that only existed in hot springs. It was really puzzling. If this whirlpool was connected to the endless sea, why would there be small fish in the hot springs? If it was connected to the hot springs, why would there be mussels in the endless sea? Could it be that this whirlpool was connected to two places, or that this whirlpool was formed by the intersection of two small whirlpools? Just as Yun Chujio was puzzled, she did not expect that the suction force of the vortex suddenly increased and Yun Chujio's entire body was sucked into the vortex. The illusionary electric eel was dumbfounded as it watched from a distance. It's over. The little devil is dead for sure. I was originally looking forward to my glorious freedom, yet you insisted on coming to see the vortex. You're courting death. The illusionary electric eel stayed by the side for a few days but did not see Yun Chujio's body. It wondered if the little girl had been washed away somewhere else. I have done my best, little devil. I hope you are okay. After Yun Chujio was swept into the whirlpool, she activated a spiritual energy shield to protect her body. There was a distorted light screen in front of her, and she could not see anything. She thought to herself that the whirlpool would sometimes push her one way and sometimes pull her in another. She was unlucky enough to be caught in those moments, and she did not know where it would lead. Chapter 923, Return to the Chimeric Icefield. 2 days later, Yun Chujio was washed out by the whirlpool. She found that she was in freshwater, and the temperature was relatively high. Could it be a hot spring? Why did the scenery here look familiar? Yun Chujio climbed out of the water and was immediately dumbfounded. Fuck. Wasn't this the Chimeric Icefield? Right, when Xian and Feng went to the bottom of the water to investigate, they did indeed find a whirlpool. At that time, she had speculated that this whirlpool led to the sea. As she had expected, this place led to the Sea of Stars. Moreover, it might even lead to the Endless Sea. It was truly an unexpected find. An idea flashed through Yun Chujia's mind. However, when she wanted to grab hold of it, she could not recall that moment of inspiration. Hence, she could only climb onto the shore. After drying her clothes, she looked around. This place was no different from before. From afar, she could see two earth-shattering ice bears running over. They were Big Bear and Bear 2. The two earth-shattering ice bears had looked for food nearby. After smelling the scent on Yun Chujia's body, they immediately ran over. The two gigantic creatures acted coquettishly. Yun Chujio could not help but laugh. These two were probably here for her medicinal pills. Yun Chujio took out 2 bottles of transcendent-grade blood coagulation pills and threw them at them. The attitude of the two earth-shattering ice bears became even more obedient. Big Bear gestured for Yun Chujio to ride on its back. Yun Chujia's eyes lit up. Since she had arrived at the chimeric ice field, it was a good opportunity for her to visit Brother Merman. She might not be able to return to the Azure Mystic Continent for a long time, so it was a good opportunity to leave some food for Brother Merman. Yun Chujio commanded the Big Bear to go to the place where the enchantment was discovered. However, she never expected that the mountain had disappeared. Yun Chujio was instantly dumbfounded. How could this be? How could a mountain suddenly disappear? If the mountain was gone, how could she find Brother Merman? Yun Chujio asked Little Black Rat to drill into the ice layer to check. Little Black Rat dug more than 100 feet deep, but it did not find any traces of the original underground palace. Yun Chujio thought of the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma. She immediately asked Big Bear to carry it to the place where the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma grew. Sure enough, the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma had disappeared. What was going on? Could it be that the people who imprisoned Brother Merman had moved him to another place to be imprisoned? Or could it be that Brother Merman had escaped by himself? Yun Chujio could not figure it out. She could only say goodbye to the two earth-shattering ice bears as she followed the route out of the chimeric ice field that she had used before, preparing to return to the Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chujio had just left the chimeric ice field and the voice transmission talisman in her storage ring started to tremble. After Yun Chujio sent her divine sense in, she heard Di Baiming's anxious voice, "Little Jiu, where did you go? Are you okay?" Yun Chujio thought that Di Baiming was probably worried that something had happened to her, so she quickly replied, "Prince Charming, I'm fine. I just came out from the chimeric ice field." After a while, the voice transmission talisman started to vibrate again, and Di Baiming's cold snort came from within, "Umph. So that's how it is." Yun Chujio was stunned, and then she was furious. "You facial paralysis. What are you snorting for? I had disappeared for 3 days and that's your response? What do you mean by that? You sound as if I did something bad." "What? I almost died in the whirlpool. You didn't even ask me what kind of danger I encountered and just said that it was how it is. How outrageous." Yun Chujio was so angry that she did not reply to Di Baiming. Di Baiming also did not send a voice transmission talisman over. A cold war had started between the two. Chapter 924, Di Baiming saw something. Half a month later, Yun Chujio returned to the Spirit Radiance sect. The moment she entered the courtyard, she saw Di Baiming glaring at her like a tiger staring at a dead fish. "You're still willing to come back? I thought that you would live permanently in the chimeric ice field from now on." Di Baiming squeezed out 2 sentences from between his teeth. Yun Chujio was also furious. "Damn it, I just traveled home from 1,000 miles away. It was fine if you did not ask about my well-being, but who were you trying to make fun of? Yun Chujio ignored Di Baiming and went straight into the house. Di Baiming was so angry that he gritted his teeth and followed her into the house. An Feng and An Yin in the corner looked at each other. A storm was brewing. It had been a long time since they had seen His Excellency and Miss Jiu quarreling. This time, they would not be nice. Miss Jiu's temper was getting shorter, she would not be as humble as before. His Excellency was also not a coward. The two of them would have a lot of trouble. After Di Baiming entered the room, he saw that Yun Chujio had picked up some paper and written on them. His heart relaxed. He overlooked the fact that the black thing ignored him just now. She must be writing a guarantee letter or a self-reflection letter for him. Since she already knew that she was wrong, I will forgive her for now. After a moment, Yun Chujio stuffed the things that she had written into Di Baiming's arms and pushed Di Baiming out of the door. I want to take a shower. You go out and wait. Although Di Baiming felt that it was a little embarrassing to be pushed out, he misunderstood Yun Chujio's behavior as shyness and did not take it to heart. He walked to a nearby stone table and read what Yun Chujio had written. He got so angry that he smashed the stone table into powder on the spot. There was an ugly fish drawn on the paper, and there was an egg drawn next to the fish. On the side, it was written, Di Baiming fish, you arrogant bastard, get lost. Di Baiming was mad. After smashing the stone table, he directly rushed into the room, then covered his nose and rolled out dejectedly. An Feng saw that there was blood flowing from the gap between the fingers of His Excellency, and he could not help but shiver. Miss Jiu was really valiant. She actually hit His Excellency's nose. His Excellency would probably be subjected to domestic violence frequently in the future. An Feng saw His Excellency cover his nose with one hand like an idiot. He stood there foolishly as if he was being imprisoned. An Feng could not stand it anymore. He ran over to collect the remnants of the stone table and took out another set of stone tables and chairs. An Feng's storage ring had more than 10 sets of stone tables and chairs, mainly for His Excellency, the palace mistress, and that Shui Wuji. He felt that having several prepared just in case of situations like this. Your Excellency, is your nose injured? It's better to wipe it quickly. An Feng could not help but remind Di Baiming when he saw that Di Baiming was like a lost deer. Only then did Di Baiming come back to his senses. He coughed awkwardly and waved his hand, indicating that An Feng should get lost. An Feng scurried back to the corner and saw His Excellency take out a handkerchief to wipe the blood from his nose and hands. Then, he sat on the stone bench in a daze. An hour later, Yun Chujio walked out of the room. After washing up, Yun Chujio looked even more beautiful. However, her eyes were full of anger as she rushed to Di Baiming's side. She grabbed his collar and said, "Didn't I tell you to stay outside? Who let you in? Didn't you know that I'm taking a bath?" An Feng immediately understood how he got the nosebleed. Cough, cough, so it was because he had seen the 9th miss in her birthday suit. Chapter 925, From a Little Sheep to a Lioness. Di Baiming's eyes flickered a few times as he recalled the jade-like body he saw just now. His nose felt hot again and he quickly raised his head to prevent another nosebleed. Yun Chujio misunderstood. She thought that Di Baiming did not care to answer her question or that he did not like her figure, so she scolded angrily, "Pretty boy. What does that mean? You have seen everything and now you have a disgusted expression. Are you asking for a beating?" An Feng and An Yin looked at each other. Miss Jiu's style had completely changed. She had changed from a little sheep to a lioness. "Damn it, Your Majesty, you'll have to suffer in the future." Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio was angry, and he choked out a few words, "Pretty good looking." Yun Chujio's raging anger was instantly smothered. "Damn it, this pretty boy is pretty cute when he's like this." Why did her mood change so quickly? Thinking of the scene just now, Yun Chujio's face turned even redder. Seeing Yun Chujio's face turn red, Di Baiming's ears turned red as well. Then, he said, "Little Jiu, your hair hasn't dried yet. What if you catch a cold? It'll help you dry it with spiritual power." What the hell? Yun Chujiu thought that she had heard wrong. What was he doing? She was sat on the stone bench by Di Baiming in a daze. Then, Di Baiming gently helped dry her hair. The anger in her heart instantly disappeared. She was more embarrassed than angry. After she took off her clothes, she suddenly had an idea. She wanted to see how her body was developing, so she took out a mirror from her storage ring. When she was twisting her waist and hips to admire her body, she did not expect Di Baiming to rush in. When Di Baiming saw Yun Chujia's flawless body, he was stunned at first, then he could not bear to look away. No matter how thick-skinned Yun Chujio was, she could not stand being stared at like this. She quickly jumped into the bathtub. Before she could scold him, Di Baiming jumped out like a cat whose tail was stepped on. Di Baiming stroked Yun Chujia's smooth long hair and felt a little distracted. With a flick of his sleeve, the miserable and Feng and Anein's 6 senses were instantly sealed. Di Baiming bent down and gently held Yun Chujia's head. His hot lips kissed her. Yun Chujio did not expect him to initiate a kiss so easily. She used her hand to push Di Baiming to break free, but Di Baiming simply pressed her on the stone table. The hot kisses fell on her like a storm. Before Yun Chujio was knocked out by the kiss, a thought flashed through her mind, "Damn it, I'm already at the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm, and I still can't fight back at all. How embarrassing." Di Baiming had complete control of the situation. Yun Chujio was like a little sheep, allowing Di Baiming to do whatever he wanted. After a quarter of an hour, Di Baiming finally reined in his desire to eat Yun Chujio and let go of Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio's eyes were blurred from the kiss and her face was flushed red. Her lips were even brighter. Di Baiming could not help but kiss her again. After another quarter of an hour, Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio's lips were slightly red and swollen from his kiss. Only then did he restrain his desire. After a long while, Yun Chujio finally regained her senses. She instantly turned from the irritable lioness into a shy little sheep. She sat on the stone chair and lowered his head, not daring to look at Di Baiming. Di Baiming had never seen such Yun Chujio so shy before. He felt his passion reignite in his heart again. He wanted to tear this little person in front of him into pieces and eat her. However, Di Baiming gritted his teeth and squeezed out a sentence, "Little Jiu, your aunt has not yet visited?" Chapter 926, Di Baiming apologizes. Yun Chujio was stunned at first, then she understood what Di Baiming was referring to. She shook her head with a red face. Damn it, she was also puzzled. Why had her period not arrived yet? When she looked at her body just now, although there was a slight curve, it was still far from exquisite. It must be because her period had not come yet. Why was this? Di Baiming sighed regretfully. He had to wait for little Jiu to grow up before he could do it. Otherwise, he really would have to hold back indefinitely. Yun Chujio felt that the atmosphere between the two of them grew even more awkward. She was afraid that Di Baiming's bestial nature would overcome him, so she quickly changed the topic. "Prince Charming, why were you so angry just now?" Hearing Yun Chujio mention this matter, Di Baiming's face darkened. "Humph. You're in such a hurry to see that merman. Did you forget your birthday?" Di Baiming eagerly came to the Spirit Radiance sect a day earlier to look for Yun Chujio. Who would have thought that she was not at the Spirit Radiance sect at all? He could not even contact her through the voice transmission talisman. He was worried to death. Who would have thought that she would run to the chimeric ice field to see that damned merman? He was so depressed that he wanted to bang his head against the wall. My birthday. Oh my God, I've forgotten about my birthday. Yun Chujio only then remembered that she had already celebrated her 17th birthday. Humph. You must be so happy that you didn't want to go home, right? You even forgot about such a good opportunity to amass wealth. I thought that you would take the opportunity to ask for gifts from those who are indebted to you. I didn't expect that merman to be so charming that you travel all the way there. Could it be that he accompanied you on your birthday? The sour tone in Di Baiming's words was so sour that it almost made one's teeth drop. Yun Chujio was stunned for a moment before she finally understood why Di Baiming was so angry. It was because he was jealous of the merman. Yun Chujio could not help but laugh out loud. Prince Charming, are you jealous? Ha ha ha, so you have such feelings too. Ha ha ha, I, Yun Chujio, have finally seen the light. Di Baiming was both angry and annoyed. Don't change the topic, did you specifically go to see that merman? Sigh, Prince Charming, you misunderstood me. I went to the Sea of Stars to release the illusionary electric eel, and then I incidentally found a whirlpool. I was curious and went to investigate, but I didn't expect to be sucked into the whirlpool. After I got out of the whirlpool, I found myself in the river of the chimeric icefield. So I wanted to go and see Brother Merman. I didn't expect that the underground palace where Brother Merman was imprisoned was gone, and the 10,000-year-old snow Ganoderma had also disappeared. When Di Baiming heard Yun Chujio's words, he shamelessly felt a tinge of joy in his heart. Damn it! It was better that the merman had disappeared. All the better to prevent the black thing from thinking about him all the time. Sigh. Prince Charming, you didn't care about me falling into the whirlpool. Instead, you're angry at me. How can I not be sad? How can I not be angry? Do you think your jealousy is unreasonable? You didn't even give me a chance to explain. You wrongly accused me without any reason. Shouldn't you apologize to me? Yun Chujio looked at Di Baiming with a pitiful and aggrieved expression. Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio's small appearance and his heart instantly softened. Little Jiu, it's my fault this time. I definitely won't wrongly accuse you next time. Humph. I'll forgive you this time. If you do it again, I won't let you off so easily. Yun Chujio puffed her cheeks and said angrily. Chapter 927, Little Black Bird who was wronged and Fong and An regained their six senses. They saw His Excellency and Ninth Miss happily playing five-piece chess, as if the previous dispute had not existed. Moreover, His Excellency had lost more than he won. It was obvious that he was going easy on her. They saw that his eyes overflowed with affection for the one who sat across him. And Fong gave Yun Chujio a thumbs up in his heart. Damn, only the Ninth Miss had such ability. His Excellency was extremely furry. Even the palace mistress and palace master could not tame him. He did not expect to see His Excellency so docile in such a short time. Yun Chujio and Di Baiming recounted recent events while playing chess. Di Baiming said, I sent people to look for the primordial fruit, but there is still no news. If it really can't be done, I will ask the master for some marrow cleansing pills. Di Baiming was also worried about Yun Chujio entering Tianyuan Academy alone. It was not bad to let Feng Ming and the others enter together with her. Most importantly, the three of them did not have any romantic feelings for little Jiu. With them watching over little Jiu, it would alleviate some of his worries. When Di Baiming thought of this, he began to plan in his heart. If he had time, he would have to contact the three of them to stay in touch with each other. At that time, he could replace the current role of Enfong. Tianyuan Academy was different from the Spirit Radiance sect. The security there was very tight, and Enfong would not be able to sneak in. Prince Charming, that is also possible. However, your master's whereabouts are uncertain, so it is not certain when he will be able to be contacted. Moreover, I feel that the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill is more awesome. It's just a pity that I ate both of the primordial fruits back then. If only I kept just one. The most annoying thing is that the core of the primordial fruit that I buried at the corner of the wall somehow disappeared. I don't know if it turned rotten or if someone stole it, Yun Chujio said angrily. Miss Jiu, the core of the primordial fruit is hardy. Even if it doesn't sprout, it won't rot. Could it be that you misremembered where you planted it? An Feng came up to her and said. No, I remember it clearly. I also searched the surrounding soil, but I didn't find any traces of the core. Could it have been stolen? It shouldn't be. Others don't know that I buried the core. It's really strange. An Feng glanced at the three silly munchkins who were playing and said in a low voice, Miss Jiu, could it be that the three of them dug it out and ate it secretly? An Feng's words made sense to Yun Chujio. The three of them were very greedy. Perhaps they dug out the fruit core and ate it, especially the little black bird, who was the prime suspect. When she buried it, it had been watching her do it. Little black bird, come here. Yun Chujio hooked her finger at little black bird. Little black bird flew over and said, Master, are you going to give me something delicious? Yun Chujio grabbed little black bird's short wings and said, Speak. Did you dig out the seeds of the primordial fruit and eat them? Little black bird was stunned for a moment, then he burst into tears. Wah wah, Master, you have made me so sad. I have been loyal to you. I have worked hard even though I have not contributed much. How could you slander and malign me like this? You have broken my heart. Besides, I am not a beggar. Why would I dig up fruit cores? Wah, I don't want to live anymore. I am too ashamed. I have been framed. Am a victim of injustice. Yun Chujio touched her nose guiltily. Little black bird, I was just asking. I didn't say that you were the one who stole the food. Can't I even ask questions? Master, don't you feel guilty saying that? Why did you only ask me? You even grabbed me by my wings. You are obviously treating me as a suspect. Wah wah, I am so sad. I don't want to live anymore. Chapter 928, Master, I want to make a report. And Feng silently stepped backward. Damn, this little black bird was a copy of Miss Jiu. He was too talkative. If he knew that he was the one who did it, he would be tortured to death. Yun Chujio coughed dryly with a guilty conscience. Alright, it's my fault this time. As compensation, we'll have some roast meat later. Little black bird wanted to continue haggling for more benefits, but he saw Di Biming's cold gaze. He was terrified. Alright, Master, you must not suspect me in the future. I'm such a good bird, why would I steal food? Especially a fruit core. Yun Chujio nodded and let little black bird go. After little black bird was freed, he immediately flew up to the tree and cursed, Damn it, if I find out who said bad things about me in front of my master, I will not forgive him. I curse him to fall to his death. Humph. An Feng, who felt miserable, fell to the ground. After he got up, he even tried to cover it up and said, Sigh, I have been feeling dizzy for the past few days. I even fell in the middle of the day. Little black bird snorted, Humph. I won't forgive that bastard. I'll curse him at least once every day. Well, see. Yun Chujio was secretly amused. An Feng had gotten into trouble this time. Little black bird had become vengeful. Since it was also lunchtime, Yun Chujio prepared the roast meat. She remembered that she had not seen the fire spirit beasts for a long time, so she ran to the back of the West Peak and called the 9 fire spirit beasts over. The fire spirit beasts had not seen Yun Chujio for a long time, so they were very excited when she called them, especially the 5 little fire spirit beasts, who cutely shook their heads and wagged their tails. It was the first time that the flaming 3-tailed fox king and little black bird saw these fire spirit beasts, and they were extremely shocked. Damn, these are exotic beasts, fire spirit beasts, aren't they? It was said that it was difficult to tame even one, but the crazy master managed to tame 9. This was too crazy. Yun Chujio let the 3 silly munchkins play with the fire spirit beasts while she and Feng roasted the meat. While Yun Chujio was roasting the meat, Little Black Bird secretly flew over. Master! Master! I want to report something. Little Black Bird said report. Yun Chujio was stunned. Report what? The Little Black Bird used its short wings to point at the little fire spirit beasts. Master, look, they keep pulling on the ground with their claws. They even eat pebbles. Maybe the core of the fruit was swallowed by them, said Little Black Bird. Yun Chujio looked in the direction that Little Black Bird was pointing at. Sure enough, the 5 little fire spirit beasts were using their claws to dig at the ground and swallow some of the stones inside. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. She had once let these fire spirit beasts play in the yard. It was possible that they had swallowed them. However, after seeing how Little Black Bird reacted when he was wrongly accused, Yun Chujio was more tactful this time. She walked to the side of the little fire spirit beasts and asked, "Do you eat the stones you find too?" A soft child's voice responded, "Yes, we like to eat stones, but Master, your food is even better. Master wants to ask you, have you seen a fruit core here? There are very deep patterns on it, and it's brown in color." Before Yun Chujio could finish, one of the small fire spirit beasts said, I've seen it, I've seen it. That fruit core is very strange. My strong stomach couldn't digest it. It's in our cave, and it even sprouted. Yun Chujio was so elated that she almost jumped. She tried hard to suppress her excitement. Is what you said true? It sprouted? Isn't the temperature in your cave very high? You can't see the sun from inside too, so how did it sprout? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.